So if you guys weren't already aware, yesterday while I was out on my morning run, I was attacked by a literal giant as bat. And the comment that made my day today, because I only saw it today, was someone said that was a dingbat in a burqa that attacked me. And I was just like, yes, thank you to whoever you are. You know who you are that wrote that. I thought that was a fantastic comment. I am henceforth going to be referring to that bat as an actual dingbat in a burqa that went after me. It was quite an ordeal yesterday, to be honest with you all, like having to get 4 injections all in one, which was just insane. And I had to get 3 more injections for the anti-rabies vaccine, I think it is. And I'm not a vaccine guy at all. Believe you me, I would prefer not to have it. But I mean, the alternative is death. So you can't be too safe in this sort of situation, I reckon. And apparently there's no side effects. At least the nurse told me over the phone. She's been working for like 4 years and hasn't seen any side effects for the amount of like anti-rabies medication or jabs they've given to people. So seems like I am in somewhat good hands, right? So that all being said, my friends, it was quite an ordeal yesterday, quite a write-off of a day. And I have this theory, right? My theory is what can go wrong will go wrong on either a Tuesday or a Wednesday. And happened to like Tuesday, everything went wrong. Yesterday, it was just one of those days. Or it can happen on a Wednesday too. I reckon there's a book in that. Now, today we're going to be talking about, yeah, you guessed it, based on the title of this video, the other dingbat that I often refer to, Candace Owens. Now, this take has to be one of her most craziest takes, and believe you me, I've reported on a number of her insane takes, but ladies and gentlemen, it keeps getting worse because you know who's behind the whole Russia-Ukraine war? Believe it or not, it's not actually Russia. It's not actually Vladimir Putin invading Ukraine. No, it's not Volodymyr Zelensky. He's got nothing to do with it at all. It has everything to do with, you guessed it, ladies and gentlemen, Israel. So now Candace Owens is pointing to the fact that we can't get peace in Russia and Ukraine, which Trump met with Vladimir Putin. It was a pretty decent interaction considering where they are at the moment and the further talks they've had since. This is the closest we've gotten to having peace in Russia and the Ukraine conflict in like 3 years, I think it is. And yet Candace Owens wants to go, no, we can't have peace. You know why we can't have peace? Because Israel controls the war. Israel is the one that started in the first place, and Israel is the one that decides whether or not it gets to end. How moronic and how crazy does she have to be? I think she's seriously either demon possessed or she's just saying the most provocative thing because she knows it's going to get clicks. I don't know. But to me, I'm like, why are you saying something so insane? Great content for me because I get to like call you out on it all the time and say you're absolutely nuts, woman. Like, where's your proof and evidence of this? But still, I mean, by all means, Candy, keep having these like moronic, idiotic, dingbattery meltdowns and saying the most crazy things on the face of the earth, and I'll continue to call you out on it. Not because I'm obsessed, but because you're an actual dingbat. You're a useful idiot of Hamas, first and foremost. You absolutely hate Israel, and you're just nuts. You've lost it. I think you need to be institutionalized or something so they can study your brain. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, have a watch of this, ladies and gentlemen.
Leaders are coming together to find peace, right? Finally, everybody's coming to the table after 3 years of murdering young Ukrainian men. We decided now that it's peace. Peace is our aim. And I hope you guys are now recognizing this as we go through the Epstein files, as we look at everything in the background of these characters, as we talk about that hand of Midas that just pulls up these cast of characters. I hope we can now all agree that this is just theater. Okay, this is just what the elites do when their objectives have been reached. And what is their objective in Israel? Ethnic cleansing, right? They've gone mask down on that. What is the objective in Ukraine? That also appears to me to be a very obvious ethnic cleansing. And when they're done, when they're within, sight of their goals, they're like, it's time for peace. And then they applaud and they give somebody an award. Oh, it's the peace award. Now that we're done with our initiatives. So pay close attention to whoever it is that they move into Ukraine after peace is struck. Gaza, but now they've kind of told us, what we're doing there. This has kind of been the exact same script, at least since World War I, likely even before then. And I think we all recognize that the person that has the most power over all of our nations, because we have been somewhat globalized, at this moment is Bibi Netanyahu. Of course, he's the boss. He's the big boss, Bibi. And he's going to decide when and if and exactly at what moment these wars are going to be allowed to end. That's why I don't take any of this seriously. By the way, like I said, I'm happy that they're at least done with the 2-year period of gaslighting us about Gaza. Like now Netanyahu's like, yeah, we're imperializing. We're going in there. It's always the same method. False flag attack justifies the war. And then there's this broader imperialist effort.
So I don't know if you guys caught that last bit. She said that October 7th was a false flag event, meaning it was staged, meaning that Israel created October 7th for themselves so they could go into Gaza and, well, obliterate Hamas or try to obliterate Hamas. It was all in the plan, apparently. Now, this kind of anti-Semitism for me doesn't fly and doesn't stand, so evidently I'm going to be calling her out. But she's saying that Bibi Netanyahu is apparently the boss of all these wars. Apparently, Netanyahu controls what Vladimir Putin decides to do. He's all in control of every single war. So when it comes down to it, these leaders all getting into a room, even though Bibi is not even there, apparently Bibi is controlling them from afar. Bibi is so in the know about everything. He's controlling the Gaza war at the moment. He's also controlling the Russia-Ukraine war at the moment. He's controlling so many countries. My goodness me, Bibi Netanyahu is the big bad wolf. According to Candace Owens, that is. And she wants to go as far as saying that Israel committed a false flag event on October 7th. Now, to me, that is completely, utterly insane. It is disgusting to me that she would go that far, knowing full well that it was Hamas. And she'll go, but, it was Israel that funded Hamas. Guess who funded actually Hamas? It was Iran and America giving billions of dollars to Iran, not Israel. Israel doesn't fund Hamas. Why do you think they're trying to destroy Hamas? But anyway, according to Candace Owens, she's right about this. Utterly nuts, isn't it? To then go as far as saying it's one thing to deny October 7th. It's another thing to say that Israel is at fault for October 7th themselves. They're the ones that set it all up. And then to go as far as saying that Bibi Netanyahu is the big controller. He's the one that orchestrates all of these wars. And when Bibi decides he's going to call up Trump, he's going to call up Putin, he's going to call up everybody and say, enough's enough, I've had enough of this. Well, according to Candace Owens, you think this is a script that's been happening since the beginning of wars, since World War I, according to Candy. Like pushing these ridiculous narratives is not going to win you any favors. But the problem is lots of her audience members believe her. She's leading people astray with this nonsense. And this has to be, like I said in the very beginning, the craziest, the most disgusting, the most moronic, dingbattery kind of take I have ever heard her say. And that is saying something because she has said some very nuts things. And this just has to take it. I mean, she, like I said a moment ago, she needs to be evaluated by someone professional. Otherwise, I don't think it is right. While I'm all for freedom of speech, goes down to what are you feeding and why are you feeding it, right? She is feeding a particular narrative that young, vulnerable minds, she doesn't care about it because you know why? She doesn't take any of this seriously. She even said in the video, she doesn't take it seriously because she's making a lot of money from it. People are giving into her. They're giving over their time to this crazy woman to spout nonsense all the time. It's not bad enough that you say that BB controls what. I mean, can only imagine how Vladimir Putin would feel about that. What? BB Netanyahu controls me? Huh? That's wild. I'm the one that made the decision, damn it. BB controls not the bear, doesn't control Russia. Vladimir Putin is a dictator. He'll do whatever the hell he wants to do. If he wants peace, he'll sort out peace. Trump is trying to bring about peace, but Candy, no, it's not good enough because in 3 years, guess who we had in power the majority of the time? Why we didn't get peace? Biden. The entire time, Candace, the entire time you were trying to call for peace, were you not? Oh, we're not going to get peace under Biden. Now Trump is close to getting peace. Nah. It's all BB. BB said. BB controls everyone. I mean, I think it's easy for me to say that she's lost the plot. She's despicable and she's disgusting. That's easy for me to say. But that's the truth of it. Like I mentioned just a moment ago, it's one thing to deny that October 7th happened. It's another thing to then go, it's a false flag moment. Israel is responsible for creating it. Israel's responsible for everything. Killing 1,300 of their own people. For what? Oh, then who took the hostages? Israelis? Right. Interesting. And then you've got most of the Palestinians that are chanting death to Israel. Right. Okay. Definitely Israel's fault. You got the Hamas leaders all wiped out. You got Hamas still in control, though, still treating the Palestinian people with absolute horrific, atrocious, living conditions. Yeah, no, it's still Israel's fault. She's nuts. Now, anyway, I want to close on this. She's bragging about how much history she knows in this short little clip. Then she proceeds to ask her producer to look up where all the world's a stage comes from. Spoiler alert, comes from Shakespeare. But this is the funny part. Have a watch what she says at the end.
But I find myself not so shocked because I know the pieces of history that they are trying to hide and the lies that they're telling, kind of recasting people that have been terrible as victims. That's like one of the moves. And of course, the world is quite literally a stage. By the way, I always wonder where that expression comes from. Can you look it up, Skylar? The world is a stage. Where is that from? I actually don't know where that's from originally. That would be interesting to see.
2 minutes later.
Oh, it's Shakespearean. All the world's a stage. Interesting. Very interesting. I might have more to say on that later.
Very interesting. Yes, very interesting. I may have more to say on that later. Because Shakespeare is Shakespeare. What's the bet that she'll start saying some crazy or she'll go down some dark wormhole of lies and nonsense about how Shakespeare was a Jewish man and how we shouldn't be trusting anything that Shakespeare says. Imagine that, right? I mean, I think she has said something about Shakespeare in the past, like him being a Jew supporter or something along those lines. I can't remember. She said so many crazy things that it's hard to really remember all of the crazy things that she said, but she said some pretty crazy things. And I can just wait. I cannot wait for her to come back to this saying because it's Shakespearean and hear what she has to say about it. That would be something else. I kid you not. I'm looking forward to it. Make great content. Please, Candace Owens, please, for my sake and everyone else's sake, come back to that very interesting statement that Shakespeare said that you actually said yourself in your video and give us your take on what it really means. I can't wait. And same with Shakespeare too. Anyway, that's enough from me, but you guys take care. Be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.